You know, we haven't had a polite, well-educated psychopath on screen since Hannibal Lecter. G'day Darkrealmers, it's horror author and illustrator Michael J. Elliott here with you again today, and today I've got a superb thriller for you, okay? Hey, if this is your first trip to the Diaries, welcome! Thanks so much for joining us, and if you want a little bit of help in finding the best horror movies and books from Hollywood and the world of indie, then hit that subscribe button and the bell notification and you'll always be on top. Okay, Darkrealmers, this is a little movie I found on Netflix, which is a great example of how, you know, some of the best movies fly under the radar and you just put them on your list to watch just in case they're okay, and they blow you away. It's called Dismissed, and it stars Kent Osbourne as Mr Butler and a superb performance by young actor Dylan Sprouse as Lucas Ward. Now, I found out Dylan Sprouse and his twin brother are actually actors, and they were in Disney shows, which is probably why I haven't heard of them before. But he took a break from acting for about 6 years, and he's back, and he's just wonderful in this. Now, the premise is that it's set within high school, and we have Mr Butler valiantly trying to teach, I think it may be classic literature, I'm not too sure, but he's currently trying to teach all the nuances and the background of Othello by Shakespeare, of course. And it's quite apparent that the students don't give a rat's ass about Othello or Shakespeare or the class, actually. And we have one student who's constantly talking and so forth. Mr Butler asks questions, vague looks on the classroom face. Into this comes Lucas, who's a complete contrast. He is well dressed, he's a very handsome young man, carries a little satchel with him, and he obviously shows up as the opposite of this whole classroom. Now, before I tell you a little bit more, have a look at the trailer, Darkrealmers.
Why did Iago ruin Othello? Anyone?
Hey, these kids don't even want teachers when they have Google.
Google can't teach a lesson, not the important ones.
Morning, Mr. Butler.
Oh,
I'm a new transfer student.
yeah, sure. Welcome to the class.
My name is Lucas Ward. I just recently moved here from San Francisco, and English happens to be my favorite subject. I know I want to go to Harvard, because there's no use in doing anything unless you can be the very best at it.
Whoa, this isn't a paper, Lucas. This is a dissertation. Oh my gosh.
He's
He's a really bright kid. I think he could use a mentor.
B+?
Yeah, it was good work.
Where did you get your degree?
I'm sorry?
Where did you go to college?
Has Lucas ever been in trouble before?
Why?
Alkali metals are highly reactive.
I believe he's not the good kid he pretends to be.
Do you have any proof that my son has done anything wrong?
Lucas, it's over.
No, it's not over.
Lucas is trying to ruin me. You know exactly what he is, and you did nothing.
What a perfect family you have. Checkmate. I always find a book that much more compelling when the character stands to lose everything.
Okay, Darkrealmers, this is one of those movies that hits the nail on the head when it comes to portraying psychopaths. Now, you may have seen a video I made quite some time ago about how to spot a sociopath or psychopath, okay? And some of the key traits with psychopaths is that they have no empathy. They cannot feel for anyone else. They basically cannot feel emotions at all. And their whole world is based around them and their wants and their needs, and nothing must stand in their way. And Dylan Sprouse in this is perfect. And why this is such a good movie, Darkrealmers, is it starts off slowly and we're just slightly creeped out by Lucas at first. Now, at the end of class, he goes up to Mr Butler with a stack of schoolwork. He's basically transferred to the school perhaps towards the end of semester and said, oh look, I don't like getting behind. I've basically completed all the schoolwork. And Mr Butler says there was no need for that. Oh, I don't like being behind. And that's a little bit creepy in the fact that, someone that goes to that sort of trouble is and the way he presents himself is like, gee, aren't I good, and it's when he joins the chess club that we get a really good example of the depths that this boy will seek to succeed, because his aim is to get to Harvard, and his grades are everything to him, and he joins the chess club and he's a natural at it, and he faces off against Alex, who's the #1 seed on the team, and when he defeats Alex, he says, oh well, I suppose that makes me the top seed. No, well, in the upcoming tournament, you're still second seed. Why? I beat him. I'm obviously superior to him, which is the whole mindset of psychopathy. They believe they're far superior to everyone else. Everyone else around them are just tools to be used to further their own ends, and so he's determined that he is going to be #1, and we're there, and we know this. Poor Alex is going to cop it somewhere, somehow, and it happens in science class. Oh, it's just brilliant. And what I love about this is the depths that this young man will go to. He's a psychopath, but he was born a psychopath. As I've always said in this context, Darkrealmers, psychopaths are born. They're just born with a something missing in their brain structure, okay, which relates to empathy and the way we naturally, relate to other people and so forth. And he presents his, essay, his book report on Othello, bound, which is like almost the size of the yellow pages as compared to the other students who sort of just do the bare minimum. And it's when he is given a B+ instead of an A that he loses it. He believes 100% that he should have been given an A, and he argues his case and he shows his superiority where he says, Iago, is clearly superior, and apparently, because I haven't studied Othello or read it, was the villain of the piece in Othello, and this shows how he can relate to the villain, because it ties in with his own outlook on the world. And what is perfect example is when he says to Mr Butler, where did you get your degree? Where did you study? Oh, Iowa University. Oh, well, that explains it. You see, you come from a Midwestern teaching background. I have an Ivy League, mindset. And this arrogance, this superiority, the way talking to a teacher. Now, any other student would be really happy with a B+, but not our Lucas. And it's chilling how far this young man will go to further his own aims. And we find out that he has blackmailed teachers before. He's done some really horrible things. And things progress, Darkrealmers, they really do. And it's beautifully done in the fact that we led gently, you know, through the progress of this relationship between Mr Butler and Lucas. Now, Lucas says that his father's a corporate lawyer, whereas in reality he's a drunk. He's got no job. I'm just out going looking for work today. But of course that reflects badly on Lucas, so we can't have that, you know. So there is this mythos that he, you know, his father is proud of him and so forth. It's superb. It really is. It's one of the best thrillers I've seen in a long time, Darkrealmers. Now, I've always said the best monsters on screen aren't the Jasons, aren't the Freddys. They are the human monsters, because they are amongst us and they walk and talk like us, they sound like us, but they're not like us, okay? And movies that can nail that always, in my book, succeed, and this one does it brilliantly, okay? The two lead actors are just superb and they work so well together. Mr Butler, we're so sorry for him. You know what he's going through. He's being blackmailed by this student who's doing some horrible things to him and setting him up and framing him, you know. All you've got to do is you know, give me that A, and you're thinking, oh, just do it, just get rid of this, just do it. You know, we're so in his corner. And Lucas, we hate with a passion, absolutely hate. And we so want to see him get his comeuppance. Okay, Darkrealmers, it's wonderful. As I said, superbly acted, wonderful cinematography, and the whole you know, student life is explored. We see how Mr Butler is a passionate, committed teacher, and he wants to apply for a permanent job somewhere else. But throughout the movie, he's stuck at writing, you know, answering a question: what makes, you know, the qualities of a good teacher? And he's really stuck on that, you know. And, you know, in a world where there's a scene where, you know, one of his fellow teachers says, oh, they're not interested in learning. They don't need to, you know, if they want to do anything, they just Google it. And he says, no, I don't believe that. You know, there is a need to learn and so forth. So we see his passion and his commitment. And as a juxtaposition, it's almost like good versus evil, because we see Mr Butler, who's committed, who's dedicated, does everything by the rules, and Lucas, who, because he's a psychopath and I'll do whatever I need to succeed. If you get hurt or you get in my way or I can use you, so be it. So it's that classic tale that's hot-wired into our brain of good versus evil. The hero must go through a lot of obstacles and a lot of trials and tribulations before he succeeds. But because it builds it up so well, Darkrealmers, we're there and we are just so much in the protagonist's corner that you find yourself just on the edge of the seat wondering, oh my God, what's she going to do next? What's going to happen to poor Mr Butler? I can highly recommend this for you, Darkrealmers, okay? Now, you can find this movie on Netflix and DVD, and unlike some of the other ones I've said where don't waste your money and, you know, get it on DVD, if you're a movie collector, this is one to have in your collection, okay? Because it's just superb, and because it's not gory, it's not bloody, it's very much the horror comes from the mind, and what, you know, one person is capable of without the slightest regret or remorse. I always find that really, really chilling, Darkrealmers, and I think you will feel the same after you've seen that. Okay, Darkrealmers, so that's my review of Dismissed. fantastic movie. Definitely, if I did star ratings on this, I would give it 10. Okay, well, maybe 9 because there's a couple of minor flaws, but hey, can't have perfection. Well, Hollywood would want us to believe we have perfection, but yeah. Anyway, Darkrealmers, that's it from me, horror author and illustrator Michael J. Elliott. And as I always say at the end of my videos, look, if you're going to get friendly with new students in your class, or if you're a teacher with a new student, make sure you stay in the light, okay? Bye for now.